Hello friends, welcome to ActionScript video tutorial series. From the past few video tutorials, we are trying to understand tokens of ActionScript. In the previous video tutorials, we discussed comments, keywords, data types, and identifiers. In this video tutorial, I would like to discuss constants and variables, that is, variables versus constants in ActionScript. Before we proceed and understand what is a variable, what is a constant, first we understand why variables, why constants, why do we need variables and constants in our applications. As I told before, while developing any software application, we will be dealing with different types of data. For example, if we are building a banking application, then we need to maintain different types of data like customer name, account number, is he or she has a loan. One more example I give. If we are building a game, then we need to keep track of different types of data like player name, player score, is game over, etc. etc. All such types of data we need to put somewhere in the memory and process and get the information out. To store and process all such types of data, computer uses its memory. It is possible to allocate some part of a memory. It is possible to grab a chunk of memory and access it in the program. It is possible to allocate and access some part of a memory, also known as memory location, in the program by providing a meaningful name to it. For example, to this memory location, I can give a name, player score, and access it in the program. And we can put different types of values inside this memory location. To allocate memory location and provide a meaningful name to it, we use variables or constants. Hope you understood. Variables and constants are used to allocate memory locations and provide meaningful names to them so that we can be able to access those memory locations by their name in the program and store different types of data values and reuse them later in the program. Hope you guys have clearly understood why variables and constants. Why variables and constants? Variables and constants are used to allocate memory locations and provide meaningful names to them. Now we understand what is a variable, what is a constant. Variable is a named memory location whose value may change during the execution of a program. Constant is a named memory location whose value never changes during the execution of a program. You can see that variable is a named memory location. Constant is also named memory location. Only difference is variable value may change during the execution of a program, whereas constant value never changes during the execution of a program. That is, constants stay constant, whereas variables vary. In order to grab a chunk of memory location and provide a meaningful name to it, we need to declare a variable or a constant. Declaring a variable or a constant means allocating a memory location for some data. Declaring a variable or a constant means allocating a memory location. Here I have the syntax for declaring variable and constant. To declare a variable, we use var keyword. And then we give a space, then we give a name of a variable, then we write colon, then we write the data type, and at the end we put a semicolon. This is actually called as declaration of a variable. Let's see the demonstration and understand everything step by step. I minimize the Word, I minimize MS Paint, I double click on Adobe Flash Professional to launch the Adobe Flash IDE. You can see that the IDE got launched. I click on ActionScript 3.0 to create the Flash document. I go to timeline, I click on layer 1, I click on the first frame, go to window, select actions to get the actions window. You can see that the actions window is visible now. To create a variable, as I told, we use the var keyword. Then we write the name of a variable after giving a space. I say here player score. I want to keep track of player score, so I'm writing player score. Then we write colon. After that we write the data type. Data type indicates the type of data that we put inside that variable. Here I say int because we are going to put integer values inside the player score 1, 2, 3, 100, right? Then I say semicolon. As a programmer, we need to understand what exactly happens behind the scene, what the system does when it executes this line of code. Let me explain clearly. When the system finds a word keyword, what it does, it understands, okay, I need to create a variable. What should be the name of that variable? Player score. How much memory I need to allocate? That depends on the data type. So integer, we know that it's a 4 byte. So it allocates 4 bytes of memory location. It goes to the memory, it grabs 4 bytes of memory. To that it gives a name player score. Depending upon the data type, it also puts the initial value. Integer data type has the default value 0. So it puts here 0. Hope you understood what happens when the system executes this line of code. We can see the value of the allocated memory location, that is player score, by using the trace function. Here I say trace, and to that we give player score, that is the variable name. What the system does when this line gets executed, the system executes this line and displays the value of player score on the screen. Value of the player score is what? It is 0. You can see that. I hit Ctrl Enter to test the movie. You can see that it has displayed 0 on the screen. Now we understood how to create a variable and display the value of a variable or value inside a variable on the output window. Let's proceed and understand more. In order to change the value in a variable or a constant, we need to initialize or assign a value to it. Initializing a variable or a constant means putting a data value in that allocated memory location. This is how we initialize a variable. We write the name of a variable, then we use equal to sign, then we assign a value whatever we want, and at the end we write a semicolon. Let's see the demonstration. I go to Flash. Here I say the new value of a player score should be equal to 10. Let's take the player has collected some coins, maybe 10 coins. So his score should be 10, right? What we need to do, we need to write name of a variable, we write equal to sign, then we give 10. Equal to means assigning a value, okay? I copy this line of code and paste down. Now what happens, we need to understand. Okay, let me go back here. I'm going to select this, say delete. When we test the movie, what system does means it executes these lines of code step by step, instruction by instruction. Once it finds a word keyword, it understands I need to create a variable called as player score. Its size should be 4 bytes and in that I should put initial value 0, right? It goes to the memory, it allocates 4 bytes of memory location. To that it gives a name player score and puts the initial value 0 because we are not assigning any value there. And then it moves to the next statement and executes this line. It displays the player score, that is 0. So it displays on the output panel 0, right? Then it moves to the next statement. Here we are telling the new value of player score should be 10. What system does? It goes to the memory and it goes to the memory location which has the name player score. It erases the previous value and puts the new value whatever we have given 10. And then it moves to the next statement. It displays the current value of player score, that is 10 on the screen. It displays 10. So we get the output 0 and 10 on the output window here. Okay, let me delete this and hit Ctrl Enter. You can see that we are getting 0 and then we are getting 10 on the screen. That is how the code executes, friends. As I told that the variable value may change during the execution of the program, right? We can change the value at any time. For example, let's take the player has collected 10 more coins. So what should be the score? His score should be 20, right? I say here player score equal to 20 semicolon, and we can display the value of player score on the screen. Let me go back and select this, say delete. When I test the movie, what happens means it executes the code line by line again. It creates a variable called as player score in the memory. It goes to the memory, allocates a memory location, and to that it gives a name player score and puts the initial value 0. Then it goes to the next statement, displays the current value of player score, that is 0, on the screen. Then it executes the next statement, player score should be 10. So what system does? It goes to the memory. It erases the previous value and puts the new value, whatever we have given, that is 10 we have given there. And then it moves to the next statement and displays the current value of player score, that is 10, on the screen. Then it moves to the next statement. We are telling the new value of player score should be 20. What system does? It goes to the memory. It erases the previous value and puts the new value 20 there and comes back. And then it moves to the next statement and displays the player score, that is 20, on the screen. Now we get the output 0, 10, 20 in the output window. If I hit Ctrl Enter, you can see that we are getting 0, 10, 20. So remember that variable is a named memory location whose value may change during the execution of a program. I hope you guys have clearly understood how do we declare a variable, how do we initialize or assign a value to a variable, how do we change the value in a variable. Now I am going to comment this code so that we need not to execute this code again. So I comment this /*, no code to execute, right? I hit Ctrl Enter. We don't see any output there. I go to memory. I'm going to remove this because there will be no memory location also. Let's proceed further. Now we understand what is a constant. We understood the variable, right? We understood how to declare a variable, how to initialize a variable. Now we understand what is a constant. Constant is a named memory location whose value never changes during the execution of a program. Constants always stay constant. This is how we declare a constant. To declare a variable, we use var keyword. To declare a constant, we use const keyword. Then we give a space. Then we write the name of the constant. Then we put colon. Then we write the data type. Then we write semicolon. This is actually called as declaration of a constant. If we only declare a constant, it leads to a warning, friends. Actually, constants must and should be initialized when they are declared. Variables need not to be initialized when they are declared, but constants must and should be initialized when they are declared. But actually it is not necessary in ActionScript. It just leads to an warning, not an error. Okay, let me go to the Flash. Here I create a constant. I say const. Then I give a name of a constant like pi. And then we put a colon. Then we write the data type. As pi has a value 3.142, we know that number data type indicates the floating point number. So I need to write here number. Then I put a semicolon. We can display the value of pi also. Let me explain what exactly happens when this line will get executed. What the system does means, once it finds const keyword, it understands, okay, I need to create a constant. What should be the name of that constant? Pi. How much memory I have to allocate? As the user is putting number type of data, I need to allocate 64 bits, that is 8 bytes of memory location. So system goes to the memory, it allocates 8 bytes of memory location. To that it gives a name pi. As we are not initializing any value to the constant here, it is going to have the default value. The number type has the default value, not a number, NaN. Number type has the default value NaN, integer has the default value 0. Okay. That is what the system does when it executes this line of code. We can display the value now by using the trace function. And I say here pi, bracket close, semicolon. When I hit Ctrl Enter, we got a warning actually, and it has displayed the value in the pi, that is NaN, right? That is the value of pi, NaN, and also it has the warning there in the compiler errors panel or a window. The warning is the constant was not initialized. It is telling that constant was not initialized. You have not initialized the constant here, right? And it is displaying not a number. That is the default value of number data type. Okay. Also, we should remember that constant value never changes during the execution of a program, right? That's what I told there. Constant value never changes during the execution of a program. We can initialize a constant something like this. We write a name of a constant, then we put a value inside it by using the equal to sign, same like initializing a variable. Let me go to Flash, and here I say pi equal to 3.142 semicolon. This is going to lead to an error, not a warning, because the constant value never changes. If I hit Control Enter, you got an error message in the compiler error panel. And what is that error? We read it. Illegal assignment to a variable specified as a constant. It is telling you have created a constant variable called as pi, and to that you are assigning a value that is illegal in ActionScript. You cannot assign a value to a constant like a variable. So this is an error. I'm going to select that and say delete, because we cannot do that. As I told that we have to initialize a constant when we declare it. How do we initialize a constant when we declare? Means we write equal to sign, then we put a value 3.142. That is how you do it. Now we don't get any warning. What actually the system does when this line will get executed means, okay, let me explain it step by step. I'm going to delete this. Okay. What system does, once it finds a const keyword, it understands I need to create a constant called as pi, and inside that I need to put 3.142. What system does, it goes to the memory, it allocates a memory location, to that it gives a name pi and puts the value this time 3.142 instead of NaN, because we are assigning a value, and then it actually blocks that memory location so that nobody can change the value inside it. Understanding? This time if I say trace pi, it displays 3.142 instead of not a number, and we don't get any warning also. If I hit Control Enter, you can see that it is displaying 3.142 on the screen, and also if I go to compiler errors panel, there are no warnings, no errors. So we have written a proper code. That is how you declare a constant and initialize it when it is declared and display the value of a constant on the screen. Remember that the value of a constant never changes, whereas the value of a variable changes during the execution of a program. Hope you guys have clearly understood what is a variable. Variable is a named memory location whose value may change during the execution of a program. Constant is a named memory location whose value never changes during the execution of a program. To grab a chunk of memory location and provide a meaningful name to it, we take help of variables and constants. To declare a variable, we take help of var keyword. To declare a constant, we use a const keyword. Variable need not to be initialized when we declare, whereas we must and should initialize a constant when we declare it. By default, the value of a variable or a constant depends upon the type of a variable or a constant. As I told, if a variable or a constant is of number type, the default value will be not a number. If it is an integer type, 0. If it is an unsigned int, 0. If it is a boolean type, it will be false. And always initialize a constant when it is declared, right? So for this video tutorial, this much is enough, friends. I suggest you people to watch this video again and again, understand whatever I explained. If you have any doubts, please do not hesitate to post the comment. In the next video tutorial, we get more information. For more benefits and be up to date, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to like, comment and share these videos with others so that everyone will get benefited. Keep learning, keep coding, keep sharing. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial.